One love to the humble, one love to the humble, one love to the humble. May grace and peace be multiplied unto you. Hey, look, I got a hot take, and I know this could possibly be controversial considering the current state that we are in as a black community. I completely understand. But um, there's some things that I've been looking at in our community that has been hurting us in our community. And this may be one of the things that you may not necessarily agree on. But before you just get in your emotions and have a knee jerk reaction, really think about what I'm saying and really go back and really look into what I'm talking about before you had that knee jerk reaction. Because I know that this knee jerk reaction is going to happen because of the nature of what I'm talking about and because of the nature of this community. Now, I'm not saying that you have to agree with me. I'm not saying you don't have to take my word for it. But what I will ask you to do is your own research. Okay, and here's what I'm gonna say: Black men need to come back, or or either come back to or become stronger in Christ. That's my firm stance. And I got stuff to back that up. What I'm saying, I'm not just throwing out information. So when you respond back to me with your knee jerk reaction, I ask that you don't respond back with emotion, that you respond back with some facts. Because I'm going to give you some facts. Please just don't comment some random stuff because you don't like what I said or it don't make you feel good. So you just said something real quick. But respond back with something um, that's going to have cause for a good conversation. I don't mind interacting with you, but I don't want to get into the emotional back and forth thing about how you feel about what I said. I want to get into the facts. Now let's go down this path. If you go back prior to the 1970s, you go back prior to that, when before we start getting into this thing that we're in right now, which I'm gonna explain. But if we go back to prior to that, 1970s and back, when we had a more Christian based community, black community. I mean, we can go all the way back to Nat Turner. Nat Turner was a black preacher. I mean, I threw that in there for shock value, but they don't really have nothing to do with what I said. It really don't. I just threw that in there for shock value. But to be honest, if you go back prior to 1970, we had a strong black base. And somebody gonna say, well, we had black Christians after that. Yes, but I'm getting to something specific here. But I mean, we was not just Christian, it was patriarchal. See, when we had patriarchal structures following Christian values, we were a better community. We were a better community because the structure was patriarchal. Whenever men are in charge of things, we tend to do things that make sense. We tend to keep our, our daughters out of the strip club and our sons out of jail. And the Christian values align with that. We keep our families intact. We keep our families intact. We keep our children, our daughters off the stripper pole, and our sons out of jail. And we follow a strict path. Now, prior after the 1970s, we got into civil rights and all that kind of stuff. Once we started getting into civil rights, what started to happen was the patriarchy started to shift into a matriarchy. I don't care what you think. Don't have a knee jerk reaction. Go back and look at what I'm saying. The patriarchy turned into a matriarch. The matriarchy has been leading the black community since because social programs came in the picture. And with social programs, you can't have men around. They gave it to the women. Men have a hard time getting these EBT and all this type of stuff. I ain't say they don't get it. I said most men gonna have a hard time getting it. But they gave it to the black woman. And giving it to her in turn made her over the decade after decade push the man out the house. And Also, during that same time, abortion became a thing, and abortion was created not to replace birth control, but in our community we use it as birth control. That is not good. In Christianity, we won't practice birth control. I mean, we won't practice abortion because it goes against Christian values. See, that would be number one. If we bring back Christianity and black men came back to Christ, which black men are not in Christ, black men don't even go to church. But we get back in the church, get back in charge of your families, and lay down the foundation of how they should go. You see what I'm saying? And you wouldn't have this abortion thing. And black men should be fighting against abortion, 100%, because all that ties into keeping things the way they are right now. Now let's go on to the next thing. So the first thing is black men come back to Christianity, come back to Christ, have Christ-like values, and get their families intact and move it in the right direction. Getting off of stopping the abortion, that would help with abortion if we got back married, we start getting married again. That's number two. Not only we need to come back to Christ, we need to start getting married. We got too many baby mamas, too many baby daddies. This culture is degenerate. Well, the culture we have developed today is a degenerate culture that is not doing anything to help the black community. The men are not in charge. The men are not in church. The women going to church. The preachers that's preaching is preaching, catering to women's feelings and supporting nonsense. We need strong men to get back in charge. This is what we have here is not going to work. Now, for if we want to change the black community, it starts with the men first. Women can't lead the black community. Just look where we at right now. This is because of women leading. And I know you're not gonna like this. I'm not dissing you as a woman. I'm just saying you're not built for this for leadership role. That's not your. You're not built for that. God didn't make you for that reason. He made you to be support. But I know you've been propped up to be the leader, and it's been by design. But that's not what you was made for. You gotta look around and see what's really going on. Don't get in your feelings about this. Look at what it really is. If you want better for the community, listen to what I'm saying. So we talked about two things: abortion. We talked about that, and we talked about black men getting married again. And then the other thing, black men need to stop sleeping with women they're not gonna marry. If you ain't intending to marry her, stop sleeping with her. Stop watching porn, corn, whatever he wants you to say on here. Stop supporting OnlyFans. Stop doing that stuff. Stop it. All this is ruining relationships and ruining the community and making women go out here and do what they do. We supposed to lead them, not keep propping them up to do stupid stuff and ruin their lives. Because that's what they're doing. Okay, that's what they're doing. Our culture is degenerate. We're doing degenerate behavior all the time. But if we had Christ-like values, if we lived according to those values, we wouldn't be having these problems. Women wouldn't be in the position they're in. Women are suffering. I don't care what they try to act like they bossing this and bossing that. They suffering because they don't want to do what they're doing. But the psychological pressure from society is causing them to go against their nature. The psychological pressures of society is causing them to go against their nature. Women want to be with a man, but what's been happening is they've been convinced that they don't need a man. That is the worst place for a woman to be is without a man. I don't care what you say. And she giving all these men babies, five different men. She got five different babies by five babies by five different men. And if the right person, she'll get number six. That is poor leadership. Fathers need to be leading their daughters. I don't care if you in the household with your child or not. As a man, you need to be giving advice. Women don't have the best advice for the children. They are good nurturers. They can make them good people, but for life, they don't have it. What it takes a lot of times. I didn't say all, but I'm just speaking in general. So we covered them. Them things need to change. The music need to change. We need to stop supporting these rappers. These rappers talk about degeneracy. You add degenerate rap music to poverty. What you think you're gonna get? If all the music talking about baby daddies, baby mamas, sleeping with this person, sleeping with that person, I'll take your chick, I'll do this to your dude, I'll do this right here for this, and I'll all this stupid stuff that's being said. That don't seem like a problem to you, and we keep supporting it. Ain't nobody talking against it. But if we get back to Christian values, that stuff go out the window. We'll have more people going in the right direction because they'll stay away, or they'll, if they do get caught up in that, they'll find their way out real quickly. They won't get submerged into that world. But we don't have any values anymore. We don't have anything we're following strongly. We cannot keep going forward with women running the black community. Black men gonna have to do what they gotta do to get back in charge of their households and their families. And then the sons are being raised by women alone. What do you think is gonna happen to a son that's raised by a woman alone? What do you think gonna happen to him? How do you think he's gonna view himself as a man in relation to a woman? Subordinate. And women don't like subordinate men. Women don't like weak men. They say all these great things. Don't listen to that. Because women say one thing, but they respond to another thing. They don't even like I wish y'all understood this. They don't know what they like. Like we already as a man, we know what we like. They don't know what they like. They can switch up on you in a minute. They say they like this, they like what their feelings like. Not what's good for them. It's like what their feelings like. If their feelings don't like it, it ain't good for them. That's why they always end up in all these bad relationships. Because their feelings don't like it, they don't like it. That's where fathers come in to vet the dude that she used to be with. That's what used to be the way. You used to have to bring the dude home. Dad had to approve before it could be any type of relationship. But how could dad approve anything when dad ain't even there? Dad can't be there to protect his daughter and guide her in the right direction because he ain't there. So the dude she get with will most likely not be the right one. She don't recognize that this dude is just there for sex and sex only because he make her feel good. See what I'm saying? How he make her feel. Oh, he brought her some flowers. He gave her some chocolates. He took her on this nice date. She feel good about this. This is the one. Till he get what he want, they don't call her back no more. Now all men is trash. No, all men not trash. It's just that the ones you like are trash. But if we had back to get men back in control, get men to understand what their rightful black men to understand what their rightful position is, this wouldn't be a thing. Or it would be very small amount of it. And they propping black women up like no tomorrow. They got them going to school. They still not taking up degrees that's going to be helpful. But they are in college and that's boosting their ego. Women have a high ego already. Super high. They can't help it. But they got a high ego already. So if their ego is already through the roof and you keep adding on stuff, you're not telling the truth. Because men ain't telling women the truth. Men are catering to women's feelings. What is wrong with you? You're supposed to tell these women what it is, not catering to their feelings. That's the problem. That's another problem we got. And they call them simps, right? I don't usually like to say that word, but that's what it is. That's what you understand anyway. You can't do that. I go look at some posts and all up in the post, man, oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. No, no, no. Clearly this woman needs to improve herself. But dude's gonna go up under there and simp out. Now she don't think she's an average, below average chick in most cases. But dude pumping the head up like she's a 10. So she thinks she deserves it. And she ain't gonna talk to none of them dudes that saying all that. She gonna go to the dude that she thinks she qualified for. And what he gonna do? Run right through her and push her to the side. Then she thinks she better than you because you pumping her head up to believe that she deserved this guy up here. When in reality, she more fit for a person, an average dude, she an average girl. But She average because she don't think so because look up under them comments. Nobody tell her the truth. And that's because men are weak. Men are weak. And men worship women. That is a problem. Men worship women. Men worship what they got between their legs and on their backside. As long as you worship that, that's gonna be your God. And that's who's gonna control you. And that's who's gonna destroy you. Because you're not in control of nothing. You're not following the right thing. You made women your idol. You're gonna be destroyed. You're never gonna succeed. And that comes from also being raised by a single mother. You think, oh, my mother, she did best, she did this, she did that. Maybe she did. But now you look at women as your superior. You're looking at women as they supposed to take care of you like your mama did. Nah, that's what your dad supposed to came and pulled you away from your mama and got you away from her and had you around some men so you know who you really are and know how to act accordingly and not find yourself in these bad positions. But that's what men used to do when they had values and they was following Christ. See, we don't have them values no more. We done slipped away from that. We don't have the urge to build no more as men. You got men out here want to move in with women. We need men to get back in charge. Get back on point. This community needs black men to get back on point. I believe black men can come back. I believe it. But we first got to get rid of the nonsense. All the stuff that we do and partake in, it has to go. I said in the other video, we got to grow up. We ain't being men, we being children. And we trying to outman a woman. What is wrong with you? You got to come back to Christ. Or if you already follow Christ, you need to be a man. Women don't run men. Never have. And now it's been that way for too long. And they still begging for more. And if you're a man and your child is with a woman, and you got a son, your son, she's training your son to be weak. He gonna be weak. She training him to be the exact man she would never date if she saw him. That's what women do. Your mama probably did the same thing to you. Told you all these things about, oh, treat women like this and do women like that. And then you got there and got stumped on because you were doing all that stuff right there. Because you ain't had no man to give you no game and tell you how it's supposed to be. No man who will believe in God, believe in Christ, and following the values. That's a problem, man. We got all this degenerate behavior we got going on out here. Ain't no men checking these women. They too busy chasing them. We ain't acting like we men no more. We just out here just free for all, no values, no structure, no nothing. See, it used to be God, man, woman, child. That ain't the case no more. Men ain't even in the pitch. It ain't even in the same ballpark because they too busy propping women up above them. She ain't gonna never respect you. Okay, what she say, she's not gonna respect you for doing that. She gonna leave you. She gonna cheat on you because you ain't got no values. And you ain't holding her to no standard. They have to be held to a standard. You cannot let them be without being held to a standard because they will destroy you if you don't be in control of your situation. And I'm not saying get violent. If it's a cause for violence, then it ain't no. It's let it go. I'm just saying leading by example, being that thing, being the one, having standards, living the right way, not doing degeneracy, not participating in degenerate behavior. That's the thing I'm talking about. It's your choice of if you want to see this community turn around or you want to stay where you at. You don't have to agree with me about what I say, but go back and look it up for yourself and see how we was doing then versus how we doing now. Just one more thing. We have almost 20 million babies being has been aborted in the black community since the 70s. That's a statistical fact. Why is that? I don't blame the women no more. I blame men. The men is just weak. Y'all just weak. Y'all sucker for women, man. Y'all can't hold them accountable. Scared of them. Scared to tell them the truth. They bat their eyes. They shed some tears. They tell you their feelings hurt, so you give in. You a sucker. How you teaching her anything or guiding her if that's all she gotta do to get you to fold? Or she wears some type of clothing, or she twerking in your face, or she tell you she gonna give you some and you fold up. What kind of man are you? It's not manly at all. You ain't lead nobody. She ain't following you because of that. She know she can use you and abuse you. That's what she know. Because she know you gonna give in. She know you ain't strong. She know you weak. She gonna play you like a fiddle. I'm just saying we need to get back to these values. We need to get back to that structure. That's the old thing gonna say to the black community. We got too many baby mamas and baby daddies. We got too many babies being born outside of wedlock. We don't have enough families. We don't have enough marriages and families. We don't have enough anything going on. Everything we have going on is nothing but degenerate behavior. Trash. Culture trash. So just think about it and figure out what you need to do to help fix the situation. It's gonna take each individual to do something. It ain't gonna be no leader come along and give us no leadership. We don't need no leadership. We need each individual actively doing something in their life and what the people that they're around and fixing it that way. Ain't no one leader gonna come along and give the right answer. That's not it. That don't work. What works is each individual person changing the people that's around them, the people that they have influence over. That's who they affected. That's who they talking to. That's who they changing. Each individual has to do that. Each individual man has to do that. So think about what you need to do and how you gonna help participate in this and fixing this and turn this thing around in the next 10 years. It's gotta happen. Because if it don't, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's gonna be bad. It's already getting there. It's gonna get worse. If men don't step up to the plate and start being men again, the black community needs it more than ever. So you think about it. Y'all take care.